I feel flat. I feel a bit sad. It's probably the first time I've ever seen Ben Stokes, England captain, have no tactical answer.
Travball, has anyone been saying that in the commentary box?
England would not have planned for Travis Head to open the batting. When you lose, the question marks always come over, were the guys properly ready to go? I think these next 10, 12 days is the biggest challenge McCullum and Stokes have had in their leadership roles of this England team.
Eager to know if you've caught up with your old pal David Warner in the commentary box. It's all over in Perth. England have been beaten inside 2 days by Australia by 8 wickets. Bundled out for 164, chasing just over 200. I'm going to get it in before anyone else says it. Travball leads Australia to a memorable 8-wicket win. Broady, shell-shocked is the word Stokesy used. How are you feeling?
Well, probably not great for a podcast, but a bit lost for words if I'm brutally honest. I don't know what to make of it whatsoever. It's been an astonishing day, and one of those days as a player, as an England player, where you sat in the changing room now and you're absolutely devastated about the position you got yourself into and how you let the game slip. Now I'm not playing, I'm commentating. You get to appreciate different moments that different players do, and I'm not saying in any way, shape or form I enjoy what Australia do, but Travis Head played one of the most incredible test match knocks you're ever going to see, and he played shots that were just unthinkable. And it's hard as a cricket fan not to really just enjoy those sort of moments where someone does something so special at the pinnacle of our sport. But England will be really frustrated as to what happened. We got to lunch today, 59 for 1, and the game looked pretty rosy. Ben Duckett going nicely, Ollie Pope playing well, the ball wasn't doing a huge amount, and Australia, to be fair to Australia, then had a bit of a tactical tweak. They started bowling a bit wider. Ollie Pope had a big drive out. Harry Brook came in, went for naught as well. And then it was a big wobble. I don't know the exact, maybe 4 wickets for 1 run, or maybe in a couple of overs, and everything changed. And that's what Australia do. This magical word, momentum, this feeling in the stadiums here, Australia got it and they ran with it, and the English batters just didn't have any sort of answer, and Gus Atkinson and Brydon Carse had a bit of a slog and got us up to a lead of over 200, but England would have been going in today thinking, we get a lead of 300, 350, we're pretty good, and they just didn't manage to do that. But the major moment came, still 200 runs defending on a pitch where it's going a bit up and down. Travis Head came and opened the batting. Usman Khawaja, another back spasm. He's not opening the batting. Travis Head comes out and gets the most astonishing 123 off 83 finished with. But this is where cricket is so funny and so interesting. England would not have planned for Travis Head to open the batting. So all their plans pre-series are about him coming in at 5 and what they do in different scenarios. He comes in opening the batting like a one-day game and just smacks it everywhere. And England, it's probably the first time I've ever seen Ben Stokes, as England captain, have no tactical answer. Just nothing. He tried different options. None of them worked. The bowlers didn't get the ball in the right area. When they tried a bouncer, it was at the chest, not the head. The pitch looked like it sort of got a bit flatter. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But Travis Head just played in a completely different style than anyone else had on the pitch. And it was astonishing, to be honest. It was an absolutely astonishing knock. But I think you just asked me. I think all you asked me was how I was feeling, didn't you? But
that's a lot.
I feel flat. I feel a bit sad because you get a win viz percentage at 74% as an England team in Australia, Test 1. You have to make that count, and the boys just weren't able to do it.
Yeah, it's a huge shame, isn't it? But like you mentioned, the incredible innings from Travis Head. It's probably too early for people to start saying, where does that rank in all-time Ashes innings? It's got to be right up there. And any word out there from whose idea it was for Head to open? Like you said, it would have put England's plans off. But me seeing Head come out to bat, I kind of thought, I'm not too worried about that. I thought he's obviously going to risk his, play a risky game, take some chances. But I thought that brings England into the game, maybe when the ball is actually doing the most. And I thought having Head come in, 15, 20 overs gone and as where he would be at number 5 may have suited Australia, but I'm so wrong on that. And the way he came out, and like you said, it was a a one-day innings. It reminded me of the Labuschagne Head partnership against India in the World Cup final. And Labuschagne just sort of soaked it up and played that low-risk game and just tucked in behind Travis Head, who played one of the most outrageous innings there in Ahmedabad. And like you mentioned, Stokes sort of not being able to find the answers. It was very reminiscent of Rohit Sharma coming up on camera thinking, I just don't have any plans left for Travis Head in this mood and in that mode, which is it's so difficult to bowl at. You know,
he's a scary man. He's a scary man to bowl at. If I'm honest, you know, he's someone that if you overpitch slightly, he's got an amazing cover drive. He's got incredible hand-eye coordination, hand speed. But you feel like you've got a chance with him as well. You know, you feel like you can bring his stumps into play. There's definitely a weakness with the short ball over leg stump, but England didn't get that ball anywhere near the right place often enough. And I think when I see his hip opening up, you know, that right, he's a left-handed batter, when that right foot starts going to the leg side, he was virtually standing outside leg stump at the end, and that makes him open up the offside so he can carve it over third man, he can slap it over cover, but also has the ability to pick up over mid-wicket. He played one of the most incredible shots from Jofra Archer, bowled a short ball, and he pulled him straight over Jofra Archer's head for six. So, it was an incredible innings. He was the only batter that made the surface look half decent whatsoever. He was the only batter who really timed the ball beautifully throughout, and it deserved to win the game. To be honest, it was one of those Test match innings that just deserved to be on the winning side. He didn't get Player of the Match. Mitchell Starc got Player of the Match, but I think he was desperately unlucky not to get Player of the Match because it was just superb.
If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed. If you're on Spotify or Apple, hit the follow button and you won't miss any of our episodes. We've been loving your comments, so keep them coming and make sure you fire in any questions you've got for Broady and me. You mentioned Head. You always feel like you've got a chance. He does show you his stumps, and you do feel like there's, risk that he takes brings you in as an opposition, but if he gets away, he just takes the game away from you so quickly. And one of the most impressive things I think about him is that mindset. He obviously can seize these big moments. He enjoys that. It sort of looks like he has that carefree attitude, and will play his way, but does that so effectively, obviously with great talent. Hand-eye coordination must be off the charts. And I actually remember in Brisbane when he came back in the last Ashes series, I think he'd been out the side for a little while, and I'm sure I saw a quote saying that if he ever got another chance, he was going to do it his way and he's just going to whack it. And he's been doing that for 4 years. And today that sort of simple mindset that he takes into those games and being able to seize that moment and the momentum, and when everything's with him, makes him incredibly difficult to bowl at. And you are stumped really with answers, and he can play outrageous shots. Like you mentioned that one against Archer, which as a bowler and as a captain, as a team, I'm thinking of that image of when I'm wicket keeping, you see a shot like that and it just does deflate you, and you just...
The body language went, Jose. The body language went, and it's so easy for the body language to go when someone's playing like that, but I'd say it went a bit too early, if that makes sense. You know, if they need 40 to win and Travis Head's 100 not out, then it's fine to sort of be floating around, but it felt like it went even when he'd got to 40 and 50, which I think McCullum will be disappointed with. Stokes, he might not have felt that out in the middle. It might have felt different, and we know how intimidating and emotional these games can be out in the middle, but it didn't look like the bowlers had many answers at all. And the fielders, you know, when you get that sense when a couple of batters haven't scored runs and they go a bit internal in their own mind, and maybe thinking about what they could have done differently and what a missed opportunity that was, it then is very difficult to be really in the theatre of the game when it's happening in the middle, when your job is done with the bat. And it had that feeling about it. It was, I wasn't watching it going, England are really in this game, they're up for the fight. Whereas last night, watching England bowl, I was like, wow, that's incredible intent as to what this group put together. And Australia, once they got on top, it was absolutely emphatic. And Marnus Labuschagne was dancing down the track and slapping it for 6 over long on. And it's those moments that as players, you're sort of just staring at the floor and hoping it gobbles you up. But what does that mean for the series? Gosh, England, I've said a few times, sort of had to win at Perth. Really, it felt like a must-win game here, particularly when you got themselves in the position that they did. Pat Cummins will come back in at the Gabba, I'm sure. The positive for England is, it's a 2-day test match. There's a huge gap now before the Gabba, so the fast bowlers will be able to turn around and go again. When we talked about
what would you do in that gap,
Archer.
How do you manage this? Because it's about 12 days now. It was always a long gap anyway, even if it was a 5-day test. But how would you try and react to this defeat, and how would you plan out the next 12 days to make sure you turn up at Brisbane in a good place? Because England did do a lot of good things in this game. It was a match of fast forward that I've never seen as quick a test match with so much happening. But England did do some really good things, obviously things they need to work on and improve on, and seizing that moment. I think I woke up and England was 60 for 1, lead of 100, and thought this is, normal test cricket again, and England are just going to slowly work their way into position. But how would you sort of try and dissect this game, and how would you keep the boys in a good space? Because it is only one game. An outrageous innings from Travis Head has, won the game for Australia in the end. So it's hard to be in that mindset right now. But over the next few days and weeks, how do you get back to turning up at Brisbane with full belief that you can make it 1-1?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jose. No, plans have gone up in smoke in a sense. That no one was expecting a 2-day test match to start the series. There's now a huge gap between this and the Gabba, which we're recording this on Saturday night in Perth. The Gabba starts Thursday afternoon, next Thursday. So what's that, 10, 11, 12 days time, whenever. So a huge gap, and England will need some cricket in that. I don't think there was ever a plan to send the England players to Canberra and play the Prime Minister's 11, but they'll have to find some facilities somewhere, whether that's in Western Australia, whether they go over to Queensland and get their preparation done there. It's always difficult. When you lose a game, different questions get asked of the team. You've got Zach Crawley has got out in the first over both times, got a pair. Joe Root's got out to Mitchell Starc twice and didn't have any sort of flow or rhythm that we're used to seeing Joe Root having. Ben Stokes been removed cheaply twice, and tactically the Australians have done that short stuff to the lower order, and we've always seen that be a problem for the England lower order over here in Australia. So there's a lot of sort of different question marks. What we will know as an England point of view is that Australia are going to target us in certain ways. Mitchell Starc's going to try and hit our stumps and bring the ball back with swing and wobble the seam across us with the brand new ball. And then if we get a partnership going, they're going to go wide and hold length and get us to try and drive through the offside when it's not quite there to drive and bring the edge into play. And they'll use the short stuff with the full bouncer field when a partnership sets in, the likes of Jamie Smith and the guys down the order are just going to get the short stuff. So we sort of know what Australia are going to do. What England can do to plan for that, I'm not sure. That I don't get the sense that batters will go and get any match time anywhere. They could maybe hire a local cricket ground and do some sort of outdoor nets between themselves in the middle where you open it up and you get a feeling for it. But there's not a huge amount of opportunity to go and get some match time. And Stokesy made that comment, didn't he, before the test started about the has-beens slagging off the preparation, the game's changed, and I agreed with him in a sense that the time wasn't there to play Western Australia or South Australia in conditions that were really competitive, that gets you ready for a test match. But when you lose, the question marks always come over, were the guys properly ready to go? And ultimately we batted 33 and 32 overs in both innings. You're not going to win many test matches doing that.
No, it's difficult, isn't it? And it feels like a big decision here. This is where, McCullum and his coaching staff are going to have to play a huge role, aren't they, for the team, and to continue to have that environment that they have. And we know that it won't be too affected by the outside noise. But results, and especially results in Ashes series, are big.
You've toured here a lot. You've been here. This morning, when I woke up, on the front page of the paper, because Usman Khawaja went off with a back spasm and he'd played golf the day before the game. The front page was him leaping, getting out for two, with a headline just said Mulligan, and it wrote about Khawaja playing golf. So over the next few days, England have now got 3 days off, which they were supposed to be playing test match cricket. If they go to a golf course, they're going to be pictured. They're going to be front page if they're at a golf course. But then McCullum's mentality and psychology around this team is about getting them away from hotels and cricket grounds and freeing their brains up. But the Australian press will be all over them. You know, they'll be... Stokes will miss a 3-footer on 18 and that'll be front page of the paper. You know, that's just the style of losing and touring here. So this is, I think these next 10, 12 days is the biggest challenge McCullum and Stokes have had in their leadership roles of this England team.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Like you said, the Aussie media had Mulligan. That's a great headline for Khawaja, but he's managed to get off the hook there with the way that Travis Head has bailed him out. As I mentioned before, Travball. Has anyone been saying that in the commentary box or in the media? I'm sure there'll be a few headlines like that tomorrow.
They haven't. I think you've just made it up on the spot, if I'm brutally honest with you. But yeah, it was pretty spectacular. I think waking up tomorrow in Australia, seeing how the news is presented, it will definitely align how Australia have beaten England at their own game, if that makes sense. I know the whole Bazball thing is classed as a bit of a myth over here in Australia, and certainly on the batting front, England haven't shown that freedom in this first test match. Whether they've not been allowed to show that freedom with the brilliance of Mitchell Starc and the tactical nous of Scott Boland today, is a different question, but I feel there'll certainly be a bit of alignment in the press here of England have been sort of slapped at their own game, and how will they bounce back. But what I would say is, we know Stokes and McCullum have a very positive mindset. They're always looking to leak out a bit of positivity out of what's come. No England team, I wouldn't have thought in the last 15 years, has had a 74% win viz at any stage in a test match here in Australia. So that's a positive. Yes, they should have done better when they were in that position. Yes, they should have won this test match really from that position, and there's reasons why they didn't. Australia were brilliant at times. England let it slip. But they got themselves into the place where they could have won a test match. And they only have to go and do that again in Brisbane, but just turn up the heat a little bit more and make sure they're more... I don't like using that word disciplined around this group, but make sure they're a bit more ruthless and realise that situation. You're ahead of the game and we're going to stamp our authority on the game. Maybe just a bit more match awareness of that. But I probably, out of everyone in the last 15 years, knows how difficult it is to win here. How incredible this Australian cricket team is when they get going. And actually, what I would say, it wasn't an incredible Australian cricket team performance this week. Mitchell Starc was 10 out of 10. Travis Head in the second innings, 10 out of 10. And Scott Boland did a little job. But not the whole team contributed to an Australian win. There was some individual magic and brilliance. So England, again, can look at that and go, if we win certain moments in this test match, we would have gone a lot further. But they lost those crucial moments, particularly on day 2, and they lost the test match.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good points there about individual performances winning a test match, which is what you usually think about in like T20 cricket, how one man can win a game, which is what Starc and Head have done, really. Mitchell Starc, have you seen him bowl better? He rose to the occasion without Hazelwood and Cummins, but he's been bowling brilliantly in the last few years, hasn't he? And that wobble seam delivery has added a completely new dimension, I'd have thought, to his armoury.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Last test match he played, he got 6 for 9 in Jamaica. Comes here, 7 for day 1. Wicket in both first balls of the innings. I mean, if you haven't seen it, guys, go and find his caught and bowled for Zach Crawley in the second innings. The bloke's 36. What an athlete. Just absolutely incredible catch. Brilliant way for him to start the innings. So yeah, he's got this wobble seam that he's developed, I'd say 3-4 years ago, that just nips across the right-handed batter. And makes him a completely different bowler, because his in-swing's always been lethal. But now it's going across the right-hander. It's actually made his in-swinger more dangerous as well. So, you know, I was watching the English batters walking out today with that sort of cauldron of energy and emotion, and Australia sort of grabbing the momentum. You've been in that situation Jos, when you're a recognised batter and you're expected to stand up to these guys like Mitchell Starc? What's going through your mind? And actually, what can the guys do differently to be able to just calm it all down and soak up a bit of pressure?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It is. There's so much going on when you walk out, and these stadiums are like big coliseums, aren't they? And the whole country is against you. There's huge intensity, and everything's up against. You've got to find a way to take the sting out of it, which England don't really do. They try and sting harder. Actually, think of the way Harry Brook tries to wrestle momentum back by being ultra positive. Mentioned sort of Labuschagne's style is to try and soak it up and leave the ball and. So they're the sort of contrasting ways. That's where Joe Root, I think, is, when he's playing well and he's at his best and he gets in, he sort of dampen that situation down. Some really solid defensive shots, so a couple of calm leaves. If someone bounces you, sort of the way you leave the bouncer as well can sort of dumb that situation down. But they're all things that are going through your head. But in the heat of it, it's hard to do. And Starc, for me, I found, like you say, the angles that you've got to cover as the right-handed batter. You're always conscious of this fast in-swinger in at your pads, bringing in bowled and LBW. And he probably bowls a lot fuller than most guys who bowl his pace do. So you're always conscious of your stumps. When I faced him previously, the ball across you sort of felt like a power fade, really, which, brings in that outside edge. But now it's different with this wobble seam. It's a proper wobble seam delivery that goes across as opposed to, the in-swinger that just didn't swing and fades across. So there's more angles now to cover as the right-hand batter against him. And he's doing that at high pace. And like you said, there's huge credit to him. He's played over 100 test matches, hasn't he, at 35, 36. You say, what an athlete. And great lesson to anyone, really, that you can always be developing your game the way he's done in the last few years, to add another delivery to his already pretty exciting armoury, as we've mentioned. So
I think he went past Wasim Akram today in the test match wicket column, I think, and that would take him to be the best left armer ever to have played the game. And when you think about not just the wickets that he's taken, but what he's won, I know we're talking about just one test match here at the start of an Ashes series, but he's been a beast in Ashes cricket. He's won World Cups. He's been phenomenal for Australia. And watching him live, when you're playing against someone, played against Starkey a huge amount, you don't allow yourself to have genuine respect for them because you're trying to beat them, because you're trying to find weaknesses in them. But I was sat there in the stand today watching him run in, 50,000 people here at the Optus Stadium, bowling the speed of light, 145 clicks, 90 miles an hour, 92 miles an hour. And you think, wow, like this bloke is a great of the game, an absolute legend of the game of as to what he's done. And you can't help but respect how he starts innings for Australia, how he sets the tone for Australia, and he definitely goes down as one of Australia's greatest ever bowlers.
It does, and sometimes when you take people out of the attack and you actually focus more on him and see just how good he is, don't you? It's always talked about that cartel, really, with Hazelwood, Cummins and Nathan Lyon with the spin, but without the two quicks there, a lot of focus was on Starc, and wow, he delivered. And like you say, you actually probably focus more on him and realise, just what a bowler he is in his own right. So England going to have to play him well for the rest of the series. You've spoke about Brisbane and with that pink ball, how effective he is. So we know he's a big threat, but we need to find some answers and play him well to have success. One thing that happened today that I just wanted to get your opinion on, Jamie Smith's dismissal seemed to take forever to come to a decision, and some of the crowd reaction from the Barmy Army was disbelief. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I was on commentary at the time with Channel 7 actually, and when he played the shot, there was only Travis Head at short leg that appealed. Again, Brendan Doggett, the bowler, didn't appeal, like he didn't appeal for Harry Brook in the first innings. So I thought, it's probably just off the hip, off the thigh pad, no problem. They went upstairs and reviewed it, and I saw the first replay and it was well away from his hip, and I thought, no, that's never a good sign when short leg is the only one that's heard it on the ground. And they go upstairs and then they played Snicko, and the ruling is with Snicko, so it was given not out as well. So the ruling in with Snicko is that it can be a frame before and it can be a frame after. It doesn't have to be exactly when the ball is passing the bat. That's just how the technology works. Whether that's a fault in the technology, I don't know, but that's just how it works. So we saw it, and the snick comes when the ball is 4 or 5 inches past the bat. So the laws of what the third umpires or fourth umpires do, that's out. But the umpire took so long that then I started saying, well, this is considerable doubt. You have to have sort of no doubt to be able to overturn the decision. So I'm thinking, well, this is doubt. So he sort of has to give this not out. But Jamie Smith did something a little bit daft, to be honest. He saw it on the big screen. He saw the little snick. And when you're looking, you've been in the middle. When you're looking at just the big screen in the stadium, they're so far away. You don't really know exactly what's going on it. And he saw the little snicko, although the ball was away from his bat, and he started walking off. So he gave himself out. So he gets halfway off, and the umpire's still unsure and not made a decision. So he sort of maybe would have lent the mindset towards, okay, well, he's definitely hit it. So ultimately, the right decision was made in the fact that Jamie Smith walked off because he knew that he'd hit the ball once the snick came on. But actually, the technology felt a little bit inconclusive, and there was doubt in the umpire's mind, which, because it was given not out on the field, you could argue it should have been given not out. But ultimately, I think Jamie Smith knew he got a little bottom edge, so the right decision came of it. And that did feel like England's hopes were wandering off with Jamie Smith.
Yeah, it certainly was a strange one, but like as a batter, I always think with DRS and reviews, like those plum LBs that people review, but they're almost off the field before you get the decision. You think, well, if you know it's that out, what's the point in that sense? But like you're saying here, when it's inconclusive, just stay in the middle and just wait and see what happens. Because like you say, the optics just, if you look a bit guilty then, don't you, that you've started to move away from the middle. But it's certainly a strange one. Like I said, on TV, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, there's a murmur, but it's nowhere near when the ball's next to the bat. But obviously this explanation of the frame before, frame behind thing, which is tough to take. And there's certainly on TV they were apologising for any lip readers when they were looking at the Barmy Army fans who were showing a bit of disgust to that decision. Broady, the great cricketer, said that if England don't win from here, we'll never win a test match in Australia. I think they said that yesterday. We've spoken a lot about how they do it, but just again, before we wrap it up, just give us reasons why England are not out of this series. It's one game. Yes, it hurts, but there's so much to look forward to and get back into this series.
You're asking me to find the positives, Jose, aren't you? The most famous question in sport after a loss. Where are these positives?
I know, I sound like such a broadcaster there, don't I? And
where are these positives?
Media man. So should we just skip that and say England will get back into it somehow?
Well, there's no doubt that Stokes and McCullum will find the positives somewhere. We might just have to wait to hear what they are, and then we can start believing in them too. Ultimately, sport is a wonderful thing. 24 hours ago, we're sat here going, England are amazing. What a fast bowling unit. Everyone's to praise. Let's give Rob Key a medal already, all that sort of stuff. And then we have a bad day today and it's all gone to pot. So we have to stay level. We know Brendon McCullum will stay very level. Yesterday, last evening, was an exceptional bowling display. Today was a really poor batting display and a really poor bowling display. And I suppose it's that, what do you learn from that? I said England will learn from it, but what do you learn from that? And they've got enough time to be able to sort of get together and figure out what's going on. What Brendon McCullum will do is he'll encourage the players to be together a lot. He won't want everyone separating and disappearing off to different parts of Western Australia. He'll want everyone to be together, figure out this as a little group. He often talks about he does 1,000 little meetings a day rather than one big team meeting. It's sort of, let's discuss this, let's get tight. The tricky thing is, as you've experienced before as a top international player, how do you match that sort of level intensity in your practice to get ready for the Gabba? Because the Gabba's, I would say, arguably the most intimidating ground in Australia. They're going to be right up for it. And England are going to walk into that 1-0 down with the Australians flying. So I suppose this gap, who does it suit? I suppose Australia want to play straight away again because they've just won. They're absolutely flying. Travis Head, the damage he's just caused to the England bowlers, it probably suits England the most, this big gap. Give it time to just settle. Give it time for the question marks over the batting group to calm down. England won't change a thing. England won't change personnel. You wouldn't suggest. The guys are going to be fit and ready to go again. They're not going to change the batting group after one test match. But it will just be about, what are our strengths? What are we looking to do? Yes, our strengths are taking the bowlers on, but our strengths in Australia can't be driving at balls wide that are on length, because it's fraught with danger. Have a look at what Australia did really well. Travis Head played exceptionally well, but it was quite frantic as well. You can't do that necessarily setting up the game. So there's question marks. It feels a bit raw for me right now to be able to find exact positives that England can focus on. But we've got a quick bowling attack that wobbled the Aussies in the conditions that suited. But ultimately, the Aussies are the best team in the world at grabbing momentum. They're the most competitive-minded people as a country. They have a never say die attitude. They're never out the game. And from 1 o'clock this afternoon in Perth, they showed that. And that's why they're so formidable.
Yeah, they did, absolutely. You mentioned it, there's so much to digest of just 2 days of cricket, and like I said, it's probably too early to try and work it out, but I will say just keep the faith, because something special can happen and these guys can make it happen. I've got some great news, Broady. We are delighted to be sponsored by Thatcher's, me especially, being a Somerset boy, and my dad used to work next door to Thatcher's, so I'm very happy to have them on board, and we're going to pick our Thatcher's Gold moment of the match. So I'll let you go first.
Gosh, to me it has to be Travis Head's 6 off Jofra Archer. It was one of the most wonderful hundreds I've ever seen. 123, whacking it to all parts, fielders everywhere. Jofra Archer comes in, bowls a short ball to Travis Head. He's given himself a bit of room, and he's almost played a pull shot, but slapped it back over Jofra Archer's head for 6. If it was a T20, you'd go, wow, what a shot. But to do that in an Ashes test match on grounds that are a pretty healthy size, that was a pretty special moment. So that wins for me.
Fair enough. I'm going to go for Mitchell Starc's caught and bowled. You mentioned it. What an incredible piece of athleticism. He obviously had an incredible match, but to bowl that ball that fast, the ball comes back at you, diving one-handed catch across the pitch. Shades of Lords, wasn't there, with the grounding of the ball. I think he said it was justice for that one, to a tongue-in-cheek kind of comment, but I thought that was an incredible piece of athleticism. So that is my Thatcher's Gold moment of the match. And last,
there's been two England players. There's been 2 England players who have got pairs in Perth. Can you guess them? You should get one.
Well, yeah, it certainly wasn't a Thatcher's Gold moment for Zach, was it, this week, unfortunately?
Okay, and guess the other one.
It's the other one, your dad.
No, it's not. It's actually John Crawley.
John Crawley?
So 2 Crawleys.
way.
2 Crawleys have come to Perth, rocked up 2 pairs. Not related, I must say, but share the same nickname as Creepy.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. And just, I know your dad had a great tour down in Australia, so I feel sorry for saying that he got a pair, but just because you brought it up, I thought you might know something I didn't. So apologies to Chris Broad. You had a fantastic record in Australia. Well done.
Don't worry, he'll be texting you saying he got 160 odd at Perth probably. So he'll be on the phone, don't worry about that.
I've had Athers on to me as well saying about my reaction, saying he's not for me. So I've just got to be careful with these comments that I keep slipping out with. A few comments that we've had from our listeners, Broady. They're all eager to know if you've caught up with your old pal David Warner in the commentary box.
I have actually. I've seen him quite a bit. First time in the lift coming up to the commentary box. I must admit, you see pretty much every Australian legend that's ever played the game in these commentary boxes. There's that many sort of TV and radio stations. They're everywhere. So I'm sort of bumping into my heroes left, right and centre. It's pretty cool actually. But yeah, I've seen Davey Warner. Had a good chat with him today. He was in good form. I think he was quite glad he wasn't batting on that pitch, to be honest, at one stage. But he's what's he got coming up this summer? He's got a lot of commentary, a lot of Big Bash stuff. So he's what did he say? I was wearing a double-breasted suit yesterday. He was like, "You look like you're the Wolf of Wall Street," which I took as a compliment. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't mind that. I think that was his way of saying to me I look pretty good. That's how I've taken it.
Right, that's all we've got time for. It's been an incredible 2 days in Perth. So much for everyone to digest. But please get your comments into us. Any questions that you've got for us, we will get them answered, and look out for a special episode where we will get the reaction from Mark Wood.